Let's turn our attention now to principles 5 and 6. Of course, we'll start with 5. Principle 5 define risk appetite and compliance impact. Each actor must understand and communicate their risk appetite to ensure fair risk sharing. Sometimes some actors are not allowed to disclose all their internal risk management policies. However, at least they should be able to communicate their risk appetites towards different risks. To make it more clear here, I'll give you an example. An NGO or back donor might say that we are comfortable in working in fragile security settings, but we have a low tolerance towards a financial loss due to fraud. So, in a simple statement, generic statement, we are aware of the risk appetites of this international NGO or back donor that we can act accordingly. And we know in the risk sharing process how to distribute roles and responsibilities in any kind of a risk sharing agreement or arrangements. Compliance policies should be supporting to humanitarian objectives and not creating unnecessary barriers. Here, there are 2 points I would like to highlight really quick. The first one, actors should evaluate their own policies to make sure that their policies are not creating barriers to different actors, and their own policies and compliance requirements are not actually creating risks and pushing down some risks to other actors that they might not be unaware of. An example, a donor might require monthly reporting in English using a specified software, specialized software that is not available for national or local actors. This is pushing risks, how to make it, how to transfer from pushing or risk transference to a risk sharing opportunity by that international actor can provide license to that national NGO as well as capacitate and do capacity building or capacity strengthening for the local NGO staff to be able to use that software. Finally, some actors also compliance and policy requirement, not just pushing risk, but making some barriers to the delivery of the services itself. For example, if we can see an actor having a policy that multiple vet process for vendor must be happening, takes 90 days, while the project must be concluded within 30 or 40 days due to the time constraints and the urgent need. Here, the national, international, or UN agency have to go into discussions how to accelerate the process and how to enable the whole delivery chain to deliver the assistance on a quality and high quality and timely manners. So the principle 6 here is consider risks of inaction. Not acting on risk can be riskier than taking calculated risks, and avoiding actions may weaken humanitarian response. Evaluate inaction consequences. What is that supposed to mean? Here, by saying inaction, that means you have a risk and you decided to take no action to it. So basically, passively accepting that risk. Sometimes it creates more risk and create more issues than acting to this risk. And this has to be evaluated by the different actors and has to be agreed whether to take action or not to take action. Inaction caused by inertia or silence is still a decision. That's supposed to mean if we decided not to take an action, that's a decision that has to be written down, that we decided not to take an action, because after that we will have to bear with all the consequences of it, and we have to be aware of it. Here, even when constrained actors can do something, what is that supposed to mean? That's supposed to mean that if you are an actor and you are restricted by your policies, you don't have to stay silent during the discussions. Basically, you can find alternative ways to engage and indirectly or gradually start engaging within the conversation. The key message here that constraints are real, but there is almost always something that can be done, even in a small or strategic manners. Yes, the source they might not be able to change today, but we might be able to work towards changing them tomorrow, after 1 year or 2 years, but it's always important to start this kind of a discussions. So in the next slide, we will discuss the final two principles, principles 7 and 8.